stuff's happening in the market, as everyone is aware. And I just want to kind of look past that and just talk about some of the trades that we have on, and some of the things that we're following now, and kind of my view of what I think is going to happen. Um, Unless we have some sort of black vulture event here with the election next week. But I'm going to start off with real estate, and I wanted to start following this in 2017, and so I trade options a lot, and I don't post those on the signals too often, but I'm going to start just so people can see how they can leverage their money here, because I think real estate shorting is going to be the way to go into 2017 and beyond. We are at a point now where I wouldn't call it so much, it's kind of weird, I wouldn't really call it a real estate bubble per se, not in the way it happened in 2007, 2008. There's a lot more cash in on these real estate deals now. What's going to happen is that the real damage is going to be on the commercial side. And people are actually going to try to hide out in the residential side. And what I'm looking at here is it's the REITs, and I think they're in big trouble. And so, I don't think they win either way. If Yellen raises rates, it just makes every REIT that much less valuable. The assets have to be marked down. The cost to borrow goes up, and the relative attraction of the yield compared to something that's considered quote unquote safer is diminished. And I just think it's going to cause an issue. And then on the demand side is that, with Amazon and with this whole notion of the basically online ordering, is that commercial real estate is in big trouble. And with Obamacare, is that the whole skew of spending is going towards healthcare. So when you look at a person like yourself, your good example is that you're spending right now. People are spending 30% of their income on rent and housing related activities, some even up to 40%. And even if you have all the subsidies in the world, you're paying a minimum of 10% of your gross, up to 30% of your gross income on healthcare now. And what that does is that spending has to come from somewhere else. So that means if you're wanting to go on vacation, and if you wanted to go out to eat, or you wanted to have your kids go to a camp, or you wanted to get a new car, all those things have to be put on the shelf, and unless you're going to borrow to do it, which I think most of us are probably, and I use the word us as a plural, is people are tapped out. So now it's going to be substitution spending. And so I look around as I drive to and fro, and I look at every industry out there, and I'm like, okay, massage, Envy, gone. Dry cleaner, gone. Starbucks, spend less. Restaurants, dead. Bars, dead. And all these people are renting commercial real estate, and you're going to see it implode. And then if you look at the retail XRT, it's already falling. So we're going to follow real estate pretty aggressively, and this is where you're going to make money in a bad economy. It is grotesquely overvalued, and so we're in rec. We took our first position in it, and just really get our toes in the water, and we also bought IYR puts, and we took those off. We invested, net 400. We gained 600 on that 400. So we had a nice trade. And then those that can't trade options, we had REK. We bought at 1841. It's 1847 now, and we actually bought a half a position. So our hope is that we'll get a bit of a sell-off here, some sort of relief rally, get REK back down to the mid-17 areas here. And I think once it gets down here, we'll be in a full position somewhere around $18. And then REC will go up. REC will go up 6 times where it is right now. It'll be a $100 stock when this is all over in the next 12 to 18 months. So I'm going to get a position in it. I'm going to hold on. And I'll also probably be doing IYR puts too. It's going to be my biggest short position once we get fully established. And then flipping over to XIV, we had a quick trade, faster than I thought. I just got too nervous. We got the pop on Friday that I expected, but it didn't hold. And let me just show you the intraday on this. We bought 32.70, and it popped up, and I yelled out, "Hey, get out at 30." Yeah. Oh, sorry. Here we go. I'm looking at them like, what happened here? So we bought it yesterday on Thursday at 32.70, and it got up to we closed it once it broke over this VWAP here. I just didn't want to get greedy. When it didn't get to 35 and completed the internal head and shoulders that I was watching, then I jumped out, and it pushed back up to 34 again, and then it rolled over hard. I don't know what's going to happen Monday, Tuesday. We bought some UVXY puts Friday, kind of a lotto, and then we also have some VXX calls. So I'm pretty much being civil right now. I'm not really sure where it's going to go, but I think either move is going to be huge, and so one will end up being worthless, and one will end up making a lot of money. And I think in the aggregate, I'll make profit on it. It's just that it's just too unclear what's going to happen. And then we look at the SLW. As I said, I was holding this thing forever, and then I just decided on Friday to I just set a stop, and so I'm getting out, and so we're out completely, and I'm just going to sit and wait this thing out. I think things are going to get deflationary. My view went from a inflationary event where the Fed is going to keep goosing this thing to now I don't think they can control the deflation right now. I just think there's too many things in motion that are outside of their control, and all they're pretending is not working anymore. People are too aware of their own situation, not believing it. So they can't keep the juggling up. And if Trump wins, I think all pretense is off, and it's just going to really, really get ugly fast. So I'm out of all my precious metals, in minor positions, and I'm just kind of waited out. We made profit on all three this week. You can check the results. But hey, we're happy about it. One that we're back in again, we took a loss. Let me go back to Boyle here. With natural gas, my play was to add, reduce, and just keep it in half. But this sell-off was just pretty brutal. And when it gapped down, I sold here. I said, I'm just not comfortable holding, and I didn't want to be a hero. Normally, I'm a little bit more forgiving with myself, but since I offer this service to people too, not everybody has the capital to be patient for an add-on. So I jumped out completely. Fell down again, and I bought again at 12.40. So what's happening is, and check out my blog and my Facebook page. I post the weather stuff out there a lot. We're getting a reversal here in the polar vortex. It's been really warm here in North America, and people, they get confused because people only look around, and what they can see with their own eyes and what's in front of their face is they view that as worldwide. But what happened was the whole polar cold shifted over to Eurasia, and it dumped unprecedented amounts of snow on the Eurasian continent, and that's going to cause some incredible reflection of heat out of the earth, and all the westerlies flow off of that landmass to come to the U.S. So there is an incredible amount of cold, dry air that's going to sweep in over northern Canada and down into our Midwest. And that's gonna bring the jet down lower, and that's also gonna bring the cold air into the U.S. And that low is gonna go all the way across to the Northeast. That's gonna support natural gas prices, and this is gonna be the prevailing winter jet. Is that we're gonna see these really deep dives into the Midwest and into the Northeast, and it's just gonna cause a lot of heating needs. And so I'm convinced natural gas is going to go much higher, and we'll be in and out of this a lot. We're going to make some good money. That's also my theme for 2017, at least first half, is that we're going to be playing natural gas to the long side. And looking at the ags is that we jump back into JJG again uh, this week, and I'm looking forward to breaking out. We're going into corn's high season for seasonality, and China's buying every soybean bean out there in the world, and the wheat crop is really interesting. They produce massive amounts of wheat, but most of the wheat is of poor quality. It's not really good for human consumption, or you're feeding it to the animals. And next year we're not going to have the El Nino bumper harvest for Russia. We're going to basically take them right out of the market, and we're still going to have problems in Northeast China. We're going to have problems in Northwest Europe, and I think this year we're going to have a below average harvest in the U.S. And so that's going to support wheat prices. So I think JJG is going to do very, very well. In these La Nina years, this JJG doubles. And, I've been in and out of this thing forever, but my average buys is between 30 and 31. And the trade signals I've been giving we just started giving them out to people that want to just be in and out of it. So we did our first trade for everybody here. But I have DBA at 20.03. I have JJG at 30.90, and I'm in and out of corn with futures, and it's going to make you a lot of money. So that's my other thing for 2017. Don't listen to anything you hear about climate change. Just look at what's happening, and you're going to make a lot of money with ags next year as well. And looking at SPY is that, for all the anger and storm and drama and the election, we are still in an uptrend with SPY, which is just amazing to me. We've had unprecedented increases in volatility, and so one or two things are going to happen. That volatility is going to come back in, and SPY is going to just drop through the floor, go right back to here, or volatility is going to release and it's going to pop it back up to here. But make no mistake, unless they can put more credit or more cash into the system and create velocity, SPY is dead. And so if Trump gets in, it's going to decrease volatility because velocity because it's going to strengthen the dollar, and he's going to continue to be nationalistic and bring manufacturing home or eliminate it coming in as an import, and that's going to cause some problems with SPY too. And plus, he's going to be out there sniffing his nose around everything. All these people who've done him wrong. He's not a guy that takes slights easily, and so he's going to rip a lot of band-aids off. And I think that's going to cause SPY to go down too. So if Hillary wins, I'm not really sure. I think it might be a short-lived bounce, but then the House Republicans are going to rip off band-aids too. So it's not going to be a pleasant year. So if we get a bounce in SPY, short it. If we can't hold this level here, right here, the 207 area, is that we're going down to here, and then after that we're going down to the 180 area. So, but this whole notion of we're going to go through the roof and blah blah blah, it's over. The Fed has already indicated that they are uncomfortable or unable to continue to lift the market through monetary policy, and they were looking for the fiscal side. But if you have a Congress that absolutely hates the president, with Obama, I think there was a lot of annoyance, okay? But it was pretty benign if you think about it, is that these people actually hate Hillary. And so they're not going to give her anything. Anything she asks for, they're just going to simply say no. And so what happens then is deflation will creep in, because the Fed's not going to be able to carry the water. They're not going to go negative. And if they do, we have gold and silver, but I wouldn't be a big excited about buying SPY here. And I'll tell you why. You just have to look at these names right here. Okay, these are the people who've been carrying the water for the last 2 years. These four stocks have been our only growth in the market at all, and I think we're flat since 2014. I think we've risen 4%, something like that this year, but we've not gone anywhere, and this is why. So look at Google, okay, and then look at Amazon. Okay, and the only one that's actually doing anything is because people are not going to movies, they're dropping their cable box. Is Netflix. That's a substitution I talked about. So, what's interesting to me is you think these CEOs have self-preservation instincts, is that all these people are in the non-healthcare arena. And you think they would start putting some really big pressure on Congress and on the president to fix this thing. And I don't think the American people or the Republicans are going to be at all interested in a single payer. So it's going to come out of revenue. So anyway, that's what we'll talk about today. It's going to be really interesting. We'll be back tomorrow with some more reports, and we'll look forward to see what happens with the election. But needless to say, it's going to be a very, 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 very interesting week ahead. Thanks. Bye.